Hello everybody, it's nice to be here. Thank you, Eglė, for the invitation. Actually, although I'm doing it for a very long time, I feel a bit nervous and I was thinking why. And actually maybe it's because I went out of the comfort zone. Actually it's nearly 1,500 kilometers from here to Ljubljana, where I come from. But I know that, like Eglė became really good friend of mine, even personally. So I see that whenever you move outside the really closest zone, it's very rewarding. And it goes the same for cooperation between organizations. And it's especially important for smaller countries, similarly as Lithuania and Slovenia. So we are moving a bit north. So after Serbia and Croatia, Slovenia, Croatian neighboring country. In our case, the desk is not located within the ministry, but within an NGO. So our institution is called Motovila, Center for the Promotion of Cooperation in the Culture and Creative Sectors. And we do the same job as all other desks, but we really try to also work on the capacity building of the sector, because we realize that it's not enough for the sector to know the criteria and the technical stuff related to the calls, but also that they really have to build themselves and their strategy on a long run. So, for example, you can see here a few impressions from our events. In the middle there is an event called What's the Story of Your Project, dedicated to communication strategies with an excellent expert from Ukraine, Anastasia Nurzinska. So even when we are organizing events, we really try to bring experts from all around, not only, from the same countries all the time. And last year, it's a pity I haven't changed the photos for you to see it. We invited two great Lithuanian experts, actually creativity gurus, Tomas Ramanauskas, I'm sure you know him, and Kristupas Sabolius. And they organized with us a workshop on project creating skills. So this is Slovenia. This is the official brand of the country. I feel Slovenia. So, but I'm not here as a representative of a Slovene Tourist Board. But, and I have to say that the Ljubljana mayor, whenever he can, he stresses that Ljubljana is the most beautiful city in the world. And they will also prepare a bid for the Capital of Culture in 25. But I heard that it will be a tough job because there are some other proposals from other cities. This is just few facts for you to know that the capacities are really limited. A small country, but very much administratively very divided. So we have more than 200 municipalities. Can you imagine? And only 11 out of them are big enough to be urban municipalities, and that is important in terms of funding culture. So actually the biggest funder for the culture on the municipality level is Ljubljana, and then maybe Maribor, the second biggest city, that was the capital of culture in 2012, but all the rest of the municipalities are very limited in funding culture, so they really have to be very creative in doing it. I won't present many concrete Slovene organizations you can work with, because you can do it yourself if you visit the Slovene national portal called culture.si. And this and also I will more stress how active Slovene sector is in participating, in the culture and media EU programs. So the blue parts goes for the film industry, and all other colors are supported projects from culture program Slovenia entered the EU program for culture in 2002. And this is the infographics without media project, so quite a lot of them. You see that the trend is quite dynamic, and so it's good for you to know that nothing is secured. You know, every year, every organization with every new project has to be convincing enough to win among the few hundred applications. And yeah, I'm stressing in not to say, you know, how Slovenia is doing great, but to really encourage you that even for small countries, for small organizations, for NGOs that don't have regularly employed staff, it's really possible to be successful in EU programs. And you know, the infographics you saw is available also in English on this national portal, so you can check it yourself. Yeah, I forgot to, the PowerPoint is rushing me a bit. So here are maybe, after we participated in the program for 10 years, we decided to analyze what are the positive effects of participating in the program. So, of course, we realized that there is increase of successful organization participating, but that this also has positive effects in terms of international partnership developed, and that it's really for each really professional organization, international cooperation is a must. It's not something they consider whether to do it or not to do it. They have professionalized by running international cooperation project, and of course they gained visibility and recognition both on international level but also back home. Then a very important factor that affected or supported Slovene organizations to apply was when Ministry of Culture started the match funding, the co-financing scheme. So we have it since 2006, and sorry again. We realized that immediately after the ministry started the system, the interest from the sector to apply was much bigger, and actually also the number of supported projects went up. And we also noticed that visible international events like Capital of Cultures or EU presidency stimulate the interest for international culture cooperation and partnership. So we had the presidency in 2008, and then the Capital of Culture in Maribor in 2012. So in that period, the participation was quite high. Maybe just, you know, you would ask why we have less project in 2016, but money-wise, that was the most successful year because we got a big-scale 2 million project. So actually we realized that, you know, through years, organizations are more and more confident in applying also for this more complicated or demanding scheme, and they are successful. And this is also maybe an interesting fact about Slovenia. You know, the lighter color relates to NGOs and so private sector, and the darker part is public sector. So actually you see that in our case around 80%, especially in the culture program, so 80% of successful organizations are NGOs, which is really great. Or, on the other side, we see that there is still potential for public institutions to be more active. This is an infographic I borrowed from Budapest Observatory. I don't know if you know it. It's a very useful resource in analyzing international cooperation in culture in the Central and Eastern Europe. and actually it showed that Slovenia is really very active in this international cooperation. So these are results for 2 schemes for cooperation project and European platforms for the first 3 years of Creative Europe, 14 to 16. And you can see that Slovene organizations were invited 38 times as partners from their partners, leading organizations abroad. But which is even more fascinating is that in the same period, Slovene project leaders established as much as 60 partnerships abroad in 28 countries. So this is really relevant in terms of international cooperation. And this is maybe a different visualization, and it is for the cooperation projects only for the last year call, 2017. And only in this call, 70 partnerships have been established with Slovene organization in 26 countries. And I will finish with 3 concrete examples. So 2 platforms and 1 cooperation project, all involving also Lithuanian partner. That was my criteria. So the first one is Versopolis. This is platform connecting literature or poetry festivals, and they're trying to create opportunities for emerging European poets. They have now in this moment 14 festivals participating, and they have promoted and enabled mobility and translations for nearly 180 poets all around Europe, and these poets have presented nearly 2,000 poems, and various events happened in 37 venues around Europe, and during 250 events, so quite impressive. And the Lithuanian partner in the platform, or the member of the platform, is Eglė, you will help me, Družkininkai Poetical Fall. Okay. And actually, you know, the platform is open for new poets and for new partnerships. So if you're interested, you can contact or me, and I will establish link, or directly the Versopolis platform. Another platform is called Future Architecture. It's run by Museum of Architecture and Design from Ljubljana, and this is already their second support within the platform scheme, and they include 17 architecture museums, festivals from this field, and producers from 15 different countries, cities around Europe. And they really stress the social mission of the European architecture, and they really want to think about what is the role of culture when providing or enabling a better quality of life for people who live in the city. And every year they have an open call for ideas from all over the globe. So check their website and participate if you are interested to this architecture field. And the last one is the one I often use as a best case project. It's called Our Little Library. And this was supported already the second time, so this is their second project on the same topic. It's about promoting reading culture among school kids, but in an inventive and amusing way, so that you know, children don't lose this will to read quality literature that usually happens you know, at least in secondary school, if not before. They are trying to promote European children's authors as well as illustrators who are maybe already well known in their home countries, but not beyond the borders. So the first project involved only 3 partners, Slovenian, Polish and Lithuanian, and now the second project grew, and now they involve 6 partners, actually the whole 3 Baltic states, which is really something special, at least in our case, you know, for Slovenia to stimulate cooperation in this region. And what they do is that they present, they are translating all the authors from the 6 countries, and the illustrators that make illustration for these books are traveling all around the participating countries, and they are running special creative workshop with children. Then children have various contests. They read these books, and then they prepare or exhibition. They are drawing pictures. At the end, they make an exhibition, and their works are traveling around Europe in that suitcase there. In each country there is a winning school that, you know, after this competition is over, and the winning school receives a surprise visit from one of the authors, you know, so it's like an ordinary class, and knock, 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 and this very famous, at least in their country, author steps in, and so children are really impressed, and I think really it helps them to really appreciate their work. And that's it. So this is our contact. And if you would like to find out who your most suitable partner would be, just visit the national portal or, of course, our office. Thank you.